You've tried everything, new products, new routines, even a fresh cut, and somehow you still catch your reflection and feel like something's missing. Here's the truth nobody tells women in their 80s about their hair. I research worst style and beauty mistakes and youth-boosting fixes for mature women, so you get simple, proven transformations that work instantly. Today we're perfecting 5 haircuts that make older women look younger after 80. And by part 3 you'll want to pause and look in the mirror. I mean it. We're covering 5 specific cuts, each one built for a different face and a different kind of hair. And the very first one, it's the cut most women wish someone had shown them decades ago. Let's go. 1. The soft layered bob. You spent 20 minutes this morning trying to make your hair sit right, and it still looked flat by the time you left the house. That's not your fault. That's the cut. Most women over 80 are still wearing a blunt, one-length style from decades ago, and it's quietly aging every feature it touches. Here's what almost nobody explains. A blunt cut carries all its weight at the bottom, which drags the whole face downward. The fix is the soft layered bob, and it works because it moves the weight up and away from your jaw. This is the one that made my own aunt stop mid-conversation and ask what changed about her face. Fix 1 is simple. Ask for layers that start at the cheekbone, not the chin, so movement begins higher. Fix 2, and this one surprises people, is texture at the ends rather than a hard blunt line, which softens everything instantly. Fix 3 is length just above the shoulder, because anything longer pulls the face down under its own weight. Fix 4. Keep the crown untouched by heavy layering so volume stays lifted at the root. And fix 5. Ask your stylist for a diagonal forward fringe if your jaw has softened with time, because it redirects the eye upward. Yes, that's simple. If you're still wearing a one-length bob past the chin, swap it for layers that begin higher on the face. If you're using a flat iron to smooth everything down, swap that for a round brush blow dry that lifts at the root instead. Maintenance is easy here. A trim every 8 to 10 weeks keeps the layers doing their job instead of growing out into that same heavy weight again. There's one detail about this cut that changes how your entire face reads on camera and in person. It's the way the layers catch light differently at different lengths, which creates the illusion of dimension, even in solid gray or silver hair. Honestly, I wish someone had told me this in my 60s instead of my 80s. The soft layered bob doesn't hide your age, it frames the elegance that came with it. Your bone structure has always been there. This cut simply stops competing with it. That's the difference between a haircut that ages you and one that celebrates exactly where you are. And if you thought the soft layered bob was the transformation, wait until you see what a few inches of length above the shoulder can do to lift your whole profile in part 2. Now picture the same woman, same face, but the weight has lifted. The layers begin just at the cheekbone, ending in soft feathered texture near the collarbone. Her whole face looks brighter without a single wrinkle being touched. 2. The lifted pixie bob. Have you ever wondered why some women in their 80s look effortlessly put together while others look tired no matter what they do? It usually comes down to one thing: root lift. As hair thins with age, most women unknowingly flatten what little volume remains by brushing everything down and back. That single habit adds years in seconds. The lifted pixie bob solves this because it's cut specifically to stand up at the crown rather than lie flat against the scalp. This one changed how a woman in my comment section described her entire morning routine. Fix 1. Ask for shorter layers directly at the crown so the hair has less weight fighting gravity. Fix 2 is a slightly longer length at the nape, which keeps the neck looking elegant rather than exposed. Fix 3, this is the quiet secret, is a diffuser instead of a brush when drying, because brushing flattens fine hair while diffusing lifts it. Fix 4 is asking your colorist for the smallest hint of warmth near the roots if your gray has gone dull, since warmth reflects light and reads as fuller. Fix 5 is sleeping on a silk pillowcase, because cotton creates the exact friction that flattens this style overnight. This one is everything. If you're brushing your hair flat every morning, swap that for scrunching product upward from the roots instead. If you're using a heavy pillowcase that creates friction, swap it for silk or satin immediately. For maintenance, a trim every 6 weeks keeps the crown layers short enough to hold their lift. There's a reason this cut works so well on softer, finer hair specifically. And it has almost nothing to do with length, it's entirely about where the weight sits. Here's something worth saying plainly. Your natural elegance was never about how much hair you have. It's about how that hair sits and moves, and this cut finally lets it move the way it should. Once you see this lift in the mirror, you stop noticing the thinning and start noticing your eyes again. But there's one more length option that works even better if your face has softened at the jaw. And it's coming up next. Now the same woman, same face with the transformation complete. Her crown lifts naturally, the nape stays slightly longer for elegance, and warmth catches the light near her roots. 3. The curtain fringe lob. This one thing is doing more damage than you realize, and it isn't your haircut at all. It's your parting. Most women have parted their hair in the exact same place since their 20s, never noticing that their face shape has softened and shifted since then. The same parting that once looked balanced now creates shadow in all the wrong places. The curtain fringe lob fixes this because it reroutes where the eye lands on your face entirely. I've watched this exact change take 10 years off a woman on camera without touching a single wrinkle. Fix 1. Ask for a soft curtain fringe that splits naturally around the center of the forehead, rather than a hard side part. Fix 2. Keep length at the collarbone, which is long enough for elegance but short enough to avoid dragging the face down. Fix 3, and this one is often skipped. Ask for face framing layers cut while your hair is dry, not wet, since dry cutting shows exactly how the fringe will fall. Fix 4 is a light volumizing mist at the part itself, since flat roots there create the harshest shadow. Fix 5. Avoid heavy shine serums directly at the crown, because shine there flattens the very lift you're trying to create. You needed to hear this. If you've been parting deep to one side for decades, swap it for a soft center-adjacent curtain part instead. If you're applying serum from root to tip, swap that for applying it only from mid-shaft to ends. Maintenance here means a trim every 10 weeks specifically around the face, even if the rest of the length stays the same. There's a specific reason this works so beautifully on softer, mature textures. The curtain fringe uses gravity instead of fighting it, so it looks natural even on day 3 or 4 without washing. Here's something I tell every woman who tries this. Your eyes were always your best feature. And this cut is the first one in years that actually shows them off. That's not vanity. That's just correct proportion finally working in your favor. Once your parting changes, you'll wonder why nobody mentioned this years ago. And part 4 takes this even further with a length made specifically for softer jawlines. Now watch the same woman transform as the parting shifts and softens. A gentle curtain fringe falls naturally around her forehead, and collarbone length layers frame her jaw. 4. The rounded silver shag. Nobody tells women over 80 this, but the wrong cut can make even gorgeous silver hair look dull instead of luminous. It isn't the color. It's the shape underneath it. Flat, one texture cuts absorb light instead of reflecting it, which is why silver hair sometimes reads as gray and tired rather than bright and elegant. The rounded silver shag exists specifically to catch and bounce light at every angle. A woman once told me this cut was the first time in a decade someone complimented her hair instead of her scarf. Fix 1. Ask for shag-style layering throughout, not just at the ends, since texture at every length is what creates shine and movement. Fix 2 is rounded, not blunt, edges everywhere, because round edges catch light softly instead of creating a harsh flat plane. Fix 3, this one matters more than people think, is a monthly chelating shampoo to remove mineral buildup that dulls silver strands. Fix 4 is adding the smallest touch of blue-based toning shampoo instead of purple, since blue corrects warmth that purple often misses. Fix 5 is finishing with a lightweight oil on dry ends only, which adds shine without weighing down the shag's natural movement. Yes, that's simple. If you've been using a heavy anti-frizz cream all over, swap it for a featherlight oil applied only at the ends. If your toning shampoo has gone purple and flat, swap it for a blue-based formula instead. Maintenance means using that chelating shampoo once a month exactly, never more, since overuse can dry out already delicate silver strands. There's a reason this particular shape works so well specifically on silver and gray hair. The layering catches ambient light the same way a diamond's cut catches light instead of just reflecting one flat surface. Your natural elegance is already there in that silver. This cut simply stops hiding it under flat, heavy layers. That shift from dull to luminous isn't about product. It was always about shape. And if you think this cut is dramatic, wait until you see the 5th and final cut, because it's the one I saved for the boldest transformation of all. Now the same woman with her silver hair fully alive. Rounded shag layers move freely and catch the light from every angle. giving her hair a luminous dimensional shine. 5. The feathered crop. There's one cut most women over 80 are told to avoid, and it's the exact one that could be transforming their whole face right now. That cut is short, feathered, and deliberately bold. The myth is that short hair ages you. The truth is that short hair with no shape ages you, and this is not that. The feathered crop uses soft, feathered pieces around the face to lift and soften every feature at once. This is the one that made a stranger stop a woman in a grocery aisle and simply say, "I love your hair." Fix 1. Ask for feathered pieces specifically around the temples, since that's where lift matters most as the face softens with age. Fix 2 is keeping just enough length at the crown for a soft, tousled texture rather than a severe, flat crop. Fix 3, and this surprises people every time, is asking your stylist to point cut the ends rather than blunt cut them, since point cutting creates that feathered softness naturally. Fix 4 is a small amount of matte styling paste worked only through the ends, never the roots, to keep texture without flattening lift. Fix 5 is scheduling trims every 4 to 5 weeks, since short feathered shapes grow out and lose their line faster than longer cuts. This one is everything. If you've been avoiding short hair because you were told it ages you, swap that belief for this specific feathered version instead. If you're using heavy gel that creates a helmet effect, swap it for lightweight paste applied at the ends only. Maintenance here is simply staying consistent with those 4 to 5 week trims, since the shape lives and dies by its edges. There's a reason this particular crop reads as bold and elegant rather than severe. It's the feathering that softens every line, so the boldness never feels harsh. Honestly, this is the cut I'd choose for myself without hesitation, because it says confidence without saying a single word. Your beautiful eyes finally become the entire focus of your face, exactly the way they deserve to be. You've just seen all 5 transformations, and now it's time to decide which one is calling your name. Now the same woman transformed, her crop feathered and lifted with soft tousled texture at the crown. Feathered pieces frame her temples, softening her whole face at once. You just learned 5 specific haircuts that most women spend years, sometimes decades, trying to figure out alone. Boom, your bone structure was always this stunning. Now it shows. Tell me which of these 5 cuts matches your hair right now, and which one are you trying next? Next time we're tackling the one accessory mistake that quietly adds 10 years overnight. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.